Anchors up, sells it full. Welcome to the Sloopcast. How are you doing today, Kyle?
We finally made it, Jared.
Finally made it.
We finally made it.
The long, arduous journey through the wasteland is over. And it's time to have a drink. It's a new tradition. It's a good tradition. Didn't get much of a crack on that one. I apologize. The Akron Zips, Kyle.
Yeah,
The Akron Zips.
Your enemy has returned.
Know your enemy, the Akron Zips. Kyle, before we get started on Know Your Enemy, however, we have a starting right guard. His name is Tegra Chabola, which I was in on Carson Hinsman. I was a bit surprised. But Tegra wins the job.
Yeah, I believe Ryan Day did mention that there's going to be some healthy, not verbatim, but pretty much there's going to be a healthy rotation going on there. But
I don't like rotation on the offensive line. The offensive line's like the quarterback to me. You pick your horse, you roll.
I agree. But I think that, yeah, you roll with the first team and then you see how everybody does afterwards. Because as we get into Know Your Enemy, we're going to see a lot of Buckeyes. We're going to see a lot of Buckeyes this weekend.
Fair. I mean, it's Akron, right? It's Akron. I don't.
And also,
that's rotation is a different conversation against Akron than it is against even Purdue. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So, like another player we're going to see a lot of, just in time. Aaron Scott Jr. Gets his black stripe removed. So, most likely going to see freshman Aaron Scott Jr. Getting some play action in this weekend's game as well.
I mean, I think we'll even see some dudes who don't have their black stripes off yet for this. It's Akron, Ohio State. Kyle, I'm favored by 50. Favored by 50 and a half. Like, we'll give our opinions on that number later in the show.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a big number. This is, let's just say this, seemingly, most likely, the worst team on Ohio State's schedule. Like, I don't feel like that's a controversial take. Akron's not good. Akron's not good. These aren't controversial takes. I'm not being a dickhead right now. I'm not being articulate right now. Yeah, they're not a good football team.
No,
it's Akron.
I did want to say one last thing before we get into the main part of our episode here. Chip Kelly going to be starting in the booth.
Yeah. That was not what they said was going to be happening during camp, although I think they did also say that wasn't settled in their defense. But yeah, no, I feel better about it. Don't get me wrong. I like having Chip Kelly up in the booth. I think having your offensive coordinator up in the booth is a good idea. That makes sense to me. I, again, don't feel like these are controversial takes either. I'm happy to hear this. The one thing that made me okay when they said, hey, Chip Kelly's going to be on the sidelines, that's where they were leaning. That's where they were going early on when that seemed like that might be the case, was the fact that you can now have all of those quality control consultant, those non-coaching coaches. They can now be present on game days.
Mm-hmm.
So you could have your quality control, offensive advisor, whatever guy up in the booth. Yeah, you could have like a real X's and O's type of guy up in the booth who wasn't one of your coaches. I think that would have given them a lot more flexibility if Chip Kelly was really going to insist on being on the sidelines. So, it didn't feel like a disaster or anything to me that Chip Kelly's going to, but I feel better that he's going to be in the booth.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Anything else?
No, it's time to talk about the enemy. It is
All
time.
Right. Akron
to know our enemy. The Akron
Yes.
Zips. Kyle,
Akron-
do you know what the Zips are named for?
Oh, I did at one point. I don't remember now.
We have two sloop cats in the chat. Do you guys remember? Do you guys know? I mean, their logo is a kangaroo. Can't say I'll say this. I'm going to give you a hint. The Zips, not originally. I don't know if they've retconned it. Not originally a kangaroo based nickname. I'll say that it's Akron adjacent. Is there a zipper company in Akron, and doesn't it come from the number 0? Ooh, that would be brutal if you named your team after 0 points. Was there a zipper company in Akron? Yes, sorta. I believe I didn't look this up beforehand. I probably should have. The Akron, but I believe it came from a boot company that had zippers on the boots, and they were rubber boots.
Also the name. Yep, Zippers, which was also the name of a popular rubber overshoe sold by Akron's B.F. Goodrich Company in 1950.
So it all comes back to rubber because it's Akron.
Yep. Last year, again, just using numbers from last year, but last year Akron not that good. 2-10 last year, 1-7 in MAC, the MAC conference. Was not a very good year for Akron. Good news is that they got some transfers for Akron. They got some transfers that came in. Ben Finley is a quarterback transfer from California. Jordan Simmons. I totally forgot about Jordan Simmons. He had a great freshman year at Michigan State.
Yes, he did.
Not so much his sophomore and junior year.
The
transferred over
Spartans
to
in general
Akron.
were unimpressive last year.
Yeah. Made his way to Akron. He's going to be the starting running back for Akron. And Shaman Cooper, who I believe was a 4-star recruit linebacker who committed to Illinois, made his way over to Akron last year, I believe.
Yeah. I don't remember specifically what year, but yeah.
Just some names to throw out there, but like last year, out of the stats that we have here that we use, Akron out of the not the Power 5, but the
Group of 5,
63 teams. So out of 63 teams, offense, there were 62 out of 63.
Yeah.
And then defense overall, they were 43 out of 63.
Not comparatively much better.
Yes, but still in the bottom half still.
Yeah. And I'll say this, that they, as Kyle already pointed out, they went and got some offensive help through the portal. I like Jordan Simmons. I quite frankly think Jordan Simmons probably, I'm going to shit on Akron again. Probably could have found himself a better home, in my opinion, unless there's off the field stuff I'm not aware of that I'm not saying there is or there isn't, just saying based purely on a player, just based purely on his on-field doings, I feel like he could have got a better home than Akron. Maybe he's from Akron. I don't know the full story, but I really liked him as a freshman at Michigan State. Michigan State as a whole fell apart last year. I don't know if you can really hold that against him. And I'll say, look, Akron doesn't have anything impressive going on the offensive line. So even if you like Ben Finley, transfer quarterback from Cal, even if you like Jordan Simmons, even if you like Amari Granger, who they brought in from Old Dominion, Simmons is from Georgia, I guess.
He is. Yep.
Did you
He's
look
originally from Georgia.
Oh, okay. I don't know why Akron. Again, unless there's other things I'm not aware of. I feel like he had a really good freshman year at Michigan State and probably, I think, deserves a better home than Akron, based purely on his freshman year at Michigan State. But yeah, especially in relation to the Ohio State game, they're not going to get much of anything done on offense. Because even though, like, I like some of these individual pieces, Amari Granger, Jordan Simmons, Ben Finley's fine. It's not going to matter against Ohio State, especially since they just don't have it up front. Like, Ohio State really should destroy them along the trench.
Agreed. Yep, completely agree. I don't really have much else to add on to that. Just looking at who they have on the offense and defense here. Yeah, I think the biggest question here, it's not so much will Ohio State win. It's the question really is by how much. By how much here?
Yeah,
50 and a half.
Buckeye Esquire 50? In the chat says shutout or bust. I feel like it'll be a shutout through three quarters. We'll see what happens late in the game.
Yeah, shut out by the starters.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a totally achievable goal, quite frankly.
Yeah. So what are you expecting? What would you like to see, Jared? What would you like to see in this game? Obviously, like Ohio State, big favorites in this game here. A lot of talent coming back. A lot of players deciding to stay.
Yeah,
adding in key people on both sides of the field to make this team even stronger.
Yep.
What are you ultimately looking at in this game to what is the key thing you're looking for when the clock strikes 0?
I'd like a shutout. I feel like it's been a minute since Ohio State got a shutout. Even if it's against Akron, I would like a shutout. I'm not predicting a shutout. It's difficult to predict a shutout, but I would like a shutout. That's totally achievable in this game. Go out and do it. I do feel like they'll probably give up something in the fourth quarter to ruin that. But
do you remember the last time they shut out a team? Anybody remember?
It's been a few years.
It has been.
Like it was a Greg Schiano defense, and it was against Indiana.
Nope. 2019 was it? 2019 was the year.
It was Greg Schiano.
Won 42-0. It was 42-0. Justin Fields had a great game. J.K. Dobbins had almost 150 yards against the Bearcats, Cincinnati.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That was the last game that Fickle lost in Cincinnati for like from there on out through the rest of that. No, I think they lost to Memphis that was the last regular season game that they lost. I think over a 2-year stretch, because I think they did lose to Memphis in the championship game.
They lost back-to-back games to Memphis to end the season.
Oh, so it wasn't just the championship game. I'm misremembering that. Okay, never mind.
Mm-hmm. But then
I think we beat Miami, Ohio that year.
But then he went on 2020 undefeated.
Yeah. Anyway, back to Akron. They have okay guys on defense. I'm not gonna totally rip the defense. I like their linebacking core. I don't think they have anyone on the defensive. It's a good warm-up game for the offensive line. So Kyle, you ask, what do you want to see out of this offense? I want to see utter dominance along the offensive line. I don't think that there's anyone coming in who scares me necessarily. CJ Nunnally, I'm probably mispronouncing that, as is tradition here at the Sloopcast, is a good edge rusher. I think Ohio State should handle him. I do like the linebacking core at Akron. So, you might see some rushes or some run stopping ability from them. But if we look strictly along the offensive line versus the defensive line, I really want to see utter dominance there. I feel like we've started to hear through fall camp that the offensive line's looking better. The offensive line's looking better. Hey, we're starting to feel a little optimistic about the offensive line. Okay, well, go out and prove it against Akron. And you can't have a good game against Akron as an offensive line. You have to dominate the game as an offensive line against Akron.
I agree. I agree with you. Just complete utter just dominance. Last year, like Ohio State played Youngstown State. Again, I think there was just they played a lot of different players in that game, but I mean, Ohio State only won 35-7 in that game. I want to see more of a dominance than that type of game. I want to see more of a, maybe not let up 21 points, but kind of like the previous year in 22 when Ohio State beat Toledo 77-21. I want a pure dominance on both sides of the field, both sides of the ball there. And just see what you can do, and just try to get that shutout. Try to prevent as less yards as you can. Then Buckeye Esquire says he wants to see 300 rushing yards and minimum 50 points scored.
I mean, you might get those 50 points. They could get 300 if they wanted 300, but I think they're gonna want to let Will Howard try to play a little.
You got to get Howard. You got to get Howard some reps there. You got to get
timeout.
Those reps.
It would be funny. Again, like, you're going to beat Akron. It would be funny if Ohio State just came out and ran like
the wishbone.
Yeah,
wishbone.
Essentially. I mean, why not? Why not? Like, why show anyone your playbook? Just come out and run the wishbone. Is that even all that crazy?
All game.
I mean, it's a little bit crazy because you're not used to running it.
It is.
And it would be kind of stupid. Yeah. I understand. That being said, I'd enjoy it. Oregon will have to prepare for it. I mean, sure, they would. But at the same time, like, I think it would be really funny to totally hide the playbook through the first 3 or so games. That would be funny. I can make an argument as to why that would not just be funny, but a good idea. But at the same time, do you want Will Howard running your offense for the first time against a real opponent? Probably not.
But I think some of us are forgetting that Oregon is still a month and a half away. It's not like it's their first Big Ten game. It's a month and a half.
Listen, Kyle, I'm mostly joking. This is Know Your Enemy Akron. We can only fill so much time being serious.
Yeah.
Speaking of spending so much time, it is time for our first ad break. I would like to invite everyone to join our Patreon, patreon.thesloopcast.com, where if you go there, you can get ad-free version of the show. You can get early access to the show. You can get premium access to the Discord server. However, the Discord server is free. It is free. There are premium channels in it. You can access those premium channels through Patreon. You can actually access them through a program within Discord, but that costs you more money and gets you the same thing. So I recommend using Patreon. You can also buy merch from us at merch.thesloopcast.com. We also have merch that doesn't look like podcast merch, and you know what I mean when I say it looks like podcast merch, you get it. So you can buy t-shirts from us that doesn't look like podcast merch at 7071.thesloopcast.com. And Jared, if you're like, Jared, I don't know what all of these links are that you said, I can't keep track of all of that, I'm driving right now, I can't write these down, just go to thesloopcast.com and that will show you where all the other links are. You can avoid, other than not avoiding the ad I just did, you can avoid the annoying Spreaker ads that are coming right now if you join up at patreon.thesloopcast.com. Okay, Kyle, we are back. I would say, like, we've talked about Akron. We've done our job. We did a good job. We talked about Akron. Let's predict this game. Let's go ahead and predict this game.
Sure. Absolutely. Ohio State player to watch. It's hard to pick one person, just because it is the first of the year, because it is Akron. I'm going to go with Judkins. I'm going to go Judkins. I think that Ohio State will mainly run on the ground. Yes, they'll get their throws in, get the playmakers the ball, but Henderson, Judkins getting the ball a lot, and I think we're going to see some pure dominance of Judkins and remind college football of how dominant he was at Ole Miss. Yeah, and
first game of the season. Let's see what some of the news guys can do.
He's going to hit the B button and just spin quarter field around to get around everybody.
If the new EA game is any indication, he has a killer spin move. I'm going to go with Sonny Styles. Sonny Styles, not a new player we're looking for in week 1, but is an old player at a new job. He makes the move from safety down to linebacker. It is announced that he is the starting will, surprising nobody. I do think that we see some rotation at the will position, but he's the guy. He's the dude. So we see Sonny Styles in a new position. I'm looking for not an upset, excuse me. I'm looking for a shutout here. He's one of the few new pieces. You could throw Caleb Downs into this conversation as well, obviously, but he's one of the few new pieces we see in this defense. Again, same face, new position. But yeah, I'm looking for Sonny Styles this week. Right. Chat, Jared, any funny names to pronounce? I already failed one earlier in the show. I may have failed it. I don't know. I probably failed it though.
While I try to find one here, chat, who do you have for Ohio State player to watch for this game?
Esquire said Tegra. I don't know if that's exactly what he was talking about, but Esquire did say Tegra. And quite frankly, I'm not mad at that answer.
Hey, Jared, if you scroll up a little bit while we have some people type in here in our chat. Well, I meant in our show notes. If you look up to the main section of our Know Your Enemy, I wrote down the projected starting lineup there. How would you pronounce the nose tackle number 99 for
why would you do this to me live on the show?
Because this is fun. This is fun.
Fun for who?
Everybody that's not named Jared.
I have to zoom in to even read the screenshot.
Here, I'm going.
I already zoomed in. I already zoomed in. Nathan Kapongo. I quite frankly think I nailed that.
All right. Awesome. All right. Austin says, my player to watch is Jeremiah Smith, and I don't care how basic that is.
Honestly fair. Honestly, totally fair. Good pronunciation, Jared. Austin, you're a white guy from Ohio too, so I don't know how much of a I don't know what your authority is on signing off on my I am fluent in Spanish. I don't think he's Spanish. That sounded very Pacific Island. It sounded very Pacific Island based off of the spelling. But it gives me more credence. No, it doesn't. No. Then you. Okay, that's fair. Then me, sure. I'll take that. You can have that, but that's a super low bar. Enemy player to watch.
Nathan's from Maine.
I don't care where. I was born in West Virginia. That doesn't mean my last name is McCoy.
Enemy player
or
to
Hatfield
watch
for that matter.
Enemy
We're totally
player
off
to
the
watch.
rails.
We didn't really talk much of the defense, but they have a tree of linebackers that's returning from last year. So that's, I guess, something maybe going for Akron there.
Yeah.
Their two leading tackles is Jared and I's player to watch. Jared picked Brian McCoy, and I picked Jatavius Fish.
Just do my answer for me.
Leading tackles for the Akron Zips.
Sure. Just read my answer for me, Kyle. Jeez.
I did. Did you just not hear me?
No, that's if I didn't hear you, how would I know you did it? What?
Don't you love the skies?
You do the show.
All right. Hey, Sloop Cat's in the chat there. Who's your enemy player to watch here? Is it Jared going off the walls right now, or?
I'm just excited we're back. I'm just excited we're back. That's all.
And Simmons, fair. All right, key matchup. Since Jared's not talking anymore, I mean, I'll read Jared's key matchup.
I'm here.
Okay.
Hi.
All right. What is Jared's
key matchup? Will Howard versus the moment. It's his first game as a Buckeye. Go out there, execute. Akron's not going to get in your way that hard. Go out there, execute the offense, look efficient. Don't get in your head about it. Don't let 110,000 people shake you. I mean, they're not going to be that up for the Akron game anyway. It's the horseshoe's not going to be rocking, but the moment's going to feel big. The stadium's going to feel big. Just go out there and execute the offense. Will Howard versus the moment, key matchup.
Okay. Typically we like to have key matchups like offensive line versus defensive line, linebackers versus the running backs, but
offensive line versus the linebackers is really the correct answer. It's just, I'm going to pick the offensive line so many times this year that I didn't want to do it against Akron.
Yeah. I mean, for this game, honestly, I really don't think there's like key matchups. There really isn't. It's really good. It comes down to the mental mistakes. You're week one against an inferior team coming in here.
Yeah.
I want to see as clean of a football game as possible. Miss snaps, poor blocking, poor tackling. I want to see all of that. I want to see that all cleaned up there. Talked about utter dominance, putting Akron to bed early, just absolute dominance altogether. I want to see a mental free, mistake free game here.
Esquire says, can we all agree 3:30 kickoffs, 3:30 kicks absolutely blow. This is the new reality for the Big Ten. And I mean, yes, but if you have a crappy game, it's going to be at 3:30 now. We used to shit on a game for like being a nooner, but because of Fox's television strategy, because CBS is the low team on the total, or the lowest sort of rung on the Big Ten totem pole. I don't even know what channel this is on. It might be, I don't know. But point is that noon is supposed to be the big premiere spot. And then the 8 o'clock or 7:30 game is like the next spot. The shitty games are going to get stuck at 3:30.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. 3:30 is SEC nap time. Yeah, it's peak. I absolutely cannot get my kids to leave me alone to focus on the game time. That's not relatable for me, but I feel you. The game is on CBS. Yeah. It was either CBS or Big Ten at the 3:30 slot.
Yep. Key matchup from Chad is Chip Kelly versus coaching from the box.
There you go. When was the last time he's been in a box? Huge adjustment. Will it cause Ohio State to lose to Akron? Maybe. No.
The spread, probably the most important question here, Jared. The spread is Ohio State by 50 points. 50.5 is the spread.
I'm going with the Zips here. It's just too big of a number.
How dare guys, we got to shit on Jared for the rest of the year. It's week 1. We're all excited for Ohio State. We're ready for some Buckeye football. And he picks against Ohio State.
Austin said he also picked the Zips. I talked a lot about this on the Monday episode on the over-under preseason over-under episode. We need to readjust how we think about numbers and scores. The games are going to be shorter. Reaching 50 points is going to be a lot more difficult now. And yeah, if Ohio State went in there and executed a game plan with the desire to get the 50 points, they could. But why? Week 1 is about patriotism, not being technically correct. Yeah. Austin says the number is just so large. Yeah. Ohio State might not even get honestly, 10 possessions.
If you look at historically with Ohio State playing MAC teams, they dominate. They honestly do dominate. Because originally when I looked at this schedule, I'm like, oh, that's a big number. I don't know if I can pick Ohio State here. But then I look at, they beat Toledo 77-21 a few years ago. Oh, they beat Akron 3 years ago. 59-7.
This is not going to be. This is going to be a run first team. This is going to be a defensive team.
Miami
and new
76-5.
clock rules. New clock rules, Kyle. New clock rules. Ohio State's going to be run first, not pass first this year. Add that to the new clock rules. Add that to the fact that the defense is going to be pretty damn dominant, and therefore the game might just get out of reach even sooner. Therefore, they're just going to quit sooner, and we're going to see the backups sooner.
Bowling Green 77-10.
Okay, fine. So you're picking Ohio State. Pick Ohio State. You can just go one up on me. Just go one up on me early in the season. It's fine.
I am. Thank you. Thank you. I don't need the charity here to beat you on the sloop picks here. But I appreciate it.
It's also technically correct.
What does everybody in the chat have here?
What do we have as a final score prediction?
Yep, final score.
I'm going for 52-7.
Jared.
I know. I didn't.
The correct answer. The correct answer is the thing right now. It is 62-7 is the final score.
I didn't do the thing. I apologize.
It is 62-7.
Austin says 56-13. He is, in fact, also keeping up tradition. I didn't keep up tradition. I just don't. Again, numbers are going to be smaller now. We have new clock rules. I'm sorry. Numbers are going to be different now. We have new clock rules. The games are going to be shorter. Mm-hmm. We have to adjust to that.
Understand. All right. As is tradition here, Austin has given us his over-unders.
But first, a quick ad break. No big spiel this time. Patreon.thesloopcast.com. Here are those ads now. And we're back. We didn't have a formal guest picker, Austin. That's why we're asking chat for to fill in the gaps.
All right, Austin's over unders for week 1 here. Ben Finley over under 152 and a half points. 152 and a half yards passing.
Under.
Under. Next question.
Yeah.
Will Howard
the defense is going to be utterly dominant.
Will Howard total touchdowns 3.5. Total touchdowns. Yeah, I'll go over. I'll go over on that one.
I'll go over because if this was passing, I'd say under.
Yeah.
Total implies that running also counts. That
Same
makes
wavelength.
4 much more possible, especially considering it's a bad Akron team.
3-1. 3 passing, 1 rushing.
I think it's like I think it's 3. Yeah, 3-1. 3-1.
Okay. Ohio State team rushing yards at 234 and a half. I'm going to go over. I'll take over on that. Just a gut feeling.
Yeah.
I'm going to go over. 300 from chat earlier is a lot.
Yeah.
And I would probably take the under for that, but 234 and a half, I'll take over for that number.
The only thing that'll stop Ohio State from doing this is Ohio State choosing not to do this, because it's just total team rushing yards. So you get Devin Brown's rushing yards in there. You get James Peoples' rushing yards in there. Yeah, I'll take the over on that.
Probably my biggest thing I want to look at here is this next one. Ohio State sacks allowed at 1.5. I hope it's under.
It needs to be under that. It needs to be under.
Gotta be under. Has to be under.
I mean, the only thing that makes me really even hesitate on that is like fourth quarter, Devin Brown maybe trying a little too hard to show something, tries to make a play happen a little too hard, gets sacked, could screw us over in this case. But yeah, I'm still going to go under.
Yeah. Jeremiah Smith, 3.5 catches. That's a good number.
I'm going to go over. I'd feel better if it were touches, because I feel like some sort of, you can't push on a half. Because I feel like some sort of run or maybe even a return. Does a return count as a touch? I believe it does. If you actually return it. But yeah, I'll go over.
Yeah, I'll say over as well too. Akron yards per rush at 2.69. Nice. I don't even remember looking at what their rushing average was last year.
I'm going under. He says 2.8 last year. Austin says.
All right.
I'm going. They do have they bring in a running back who I really like, but I don't think it matters for this game. Under.
Yeah, I'll go under. I'll go under too, just because sacks do count towards rushing and not against the passing total, like in the NFL.
That's a valid point.
All right, and last one is Trey and Judd. Total touches at 28.5.
It's a good number. I'm going to go under.
Yeah, my gut's under just because of trying to get the ball out to wide range. It's just the game's. It's just the game's going to be over so quickly, and those guys have really long seasons ahead of them. They'll each get like 8-10 touches.
I was thinking 12. But 12 still puts us very far under.
I'll say under. I will say under as well.
The one thing that does make me hesitate on that is I feel like Will Howard's a bit of a check down Charlie. I feel like that will increase. I think we'll have like more running back receptions this year than maybe we saw under previous quarterbacks who were more downfield throwers. I feel like Will Howard's a little bit more like conservative pro quarterback who's going to do a fair amount of checkdowns to the running backs.
All right, and that is Austin's over-unders for week 1.
Awesome. Kyle, I think that's the show. Are there any other Ask Sloopcast questions we should get to? You want to check the channel real quick?
Which quarter will the backups be sent out?
Third.
Yep.
And not and for the and just to spice that prediction up, not the beginning of the third. I feel like this is like the starters
second
get
possession.
Yeah, one or two possessions in the third quarter.
Who scores the first touchdown? I'm thinking Judkins.
It's Trey or Judkins. Trey or Judkins. You said Judkins? I'll go Trey.
All right. Ballard for a return.
One day, Kyle. One day.
All right, that's it. I think we'll go ahead and end it right there.
All right. Kyle, do you have anything in Kyle's corner?
The crew.
Yeah.
The Columbus Crew.
You did cover this I know we recorded just like 2 days ago, but you did just cover this.
I did, but still, Columbus Crew is the champions of the world. They're the world's team right now.
It's American soccer, Kyle. Let's pump the brakes on that a bit, huh? Let's pump the
League Cup champions for the first time. Yeah. It's a great year so far for the Columbus Crew, and it's just getting started.
Brendan Ennis, I think, is also a good answer to the question, Esquire. All right. Is that it?
I think we're good. Ready to see those Buckeyes on the field.
Yeah. Same. All right. That's Know Your Enemy Akron. If you're new around these parts, we do an Ohio State preview on Thursday, and we do a national preview on Friday. This is your Ohio State preview. We call it Know Your Enemy. On Friday, we do Sloop picks. We will pick 6 additional games against we pick 7 games against the spread every week. You just heard our Ohio State pick. We do 6 additional on Friday. We call that episode the Sloop Picks. Sloop Picks week 1 this Friday. If you're listening to this on Friday, it's already out. So with all that being said, wait a minute. Introduce Jared. Talk about the SCO. We haven't done an SCO episode in a very long time. We should bring back the SCO. Not that. What SCO? Oh, the Sloopcast social screen. Yeah, if you join the Discord server, the Sloopcast social screen, you can watch games with us live in the Discord server once a week. We do that. We pick like one time window of the week, and we all gather around in the Discord server and we watch a game together. It has been the Ohio State game in the past. It won't always be. In fact, rarely is. I find that I let the Discord people vote on it. They almost never pick the Ohio State game. I think we all like to sit, because I feel like this is most of our Discord server when there's an Ohio State game. This is for the YouTube folks. Sorry, podcast listeners. This is, I think, most of us during an Ohio State game. I think that's why we don't want to do the Ohio State games. Usually like 2 times a year. Yeah, I think so. All right. That's it. That's the end of today's episode. Tonight's ending music will be playing to Vapors, one of my favorite Columbus area bands. So with all that being said, I'd like to encourage everyone to drink local beer, listen to local music, and of course, support your local podcasters. Once again, this is Playing to Vapors.